In a groundbreaking career that spans over 30 years, David Fincher has etched a permanent place in movie history as one of the most talented directors of his generation. In this video, we have scoured through interviews to round up 10 thrillers. From classic French cinema to obscure 1970s gems with an emphasis on those of the hitman variety that the mastermind behind Zodiac and Fight Club has singled out as noteworthy for one reason or another.
Can't make an assassin movie without at least referencing it.
Que voulez-vous? Vous tuez.
It's no surprise that the famous French filmmaker Jean-Pierre Melville, often called the godfather of modern crime thrillers, would be mentioned at least once. Melville is a huge figure in the world of movies, known for bringing new life to the crime genre and inspiring many directors. Like David Fincher, Melville made his name and reputation with razor-sharp thrillers about ice-cold professional assassins, perhaps none better or as foundational as Loose Samurai, about a trench coat and fedora-wearing freelance killer, played with a steely edge by Alain Delon, who finds himself between a rock and a hard place after his last hit goes awry.
One day, a professional killer went home to visit his family and found his brother murdered.
It's a minor tragedy that an entire generation of moviegoers have seemingly grown up knowing Michael Caine as the affable, well-mannered fellow who used to keep popping up from time to time in Christopher Nolan movies. To anyone who'd like to see the now-retired silver screen icon at his true apex mountain, though, we suggest you turn to this benchmark of British cinema. Get Carter finds Caine in full movie star mode, chewing up the scenery in one of his single best and flat-out enjoyable career turns as Jack Carter, a two-bit London hood who returns to his hometown of Newcastle dead set on avenging his brother's murder after refusing to believe the official police report, which claims he died by alcohol poisoning. You never know what's lurking under the surface in this oft-forgotten man-on-a-mission classic that, although rarely mentioned in the same breath as cinema studies standards like Dirty Harry, continues to be a guidepost for how to create a solid crime caper.
You're an interesting man, Mr. Varrick.
Another underseen gem from the 70s ripe for rediscovery that Fincher likes and named as influential is Don Siegel's wildly unpredictable, ruthlessly irreverent, and darkly funny Charlie Varrick. A heist gone wrong shoot-'em-up that suggests a cross between Bonnie and Clyde, The Getaway, and Reservoir Dogs. Varrick finds Hollywood stalwart Walter Matthau ascend to new heights of performance in the title role as a short-fused and irredeemably self-serving career criminal on the run from the law who robs a small-town bank and must not only evade the cops, but the mob, and his former associates as well. Fincher identified the movie as a personal favorite and one that he especially kept in mind during the early production stages of The Killer. And if you somehow need even more reason to track down Charlie Varrick, rest assured, even by modern standards, the drum-tight script, heart-racing chase sequences, and tough-as-nails performances ensure the film still packs a mighty punch.
A world where nothing is what it seems to be.
Perhaps more than any other contemporary American director besides Fincher himself, the Coen brothers have managed to writhe across genres while always playing by their own rules. Loosely adapted from Dashiell Hammett's hard-boiled novels, this Prohibition-era gangster saga about two warring mobs established the Coens as a major creative force in Hollywood and introduced audiences to their tragicomic sense of the absurd by fusing well-trodden noir tropes with healthy doses of self-awareness. Bullets, snappy one-liners, and top-caliber performances abound as we watch Gabriel Byrne's too-clever-by-half henchman try to stay one step ahead after getting caught in a whirlwind of conflicting loyalties and breaking ties with his powerful crime boss. A high-water mark in 90s American cinema that marked a stride forward in the Coens' filmmaking craft.
Notorious! 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 She was a notorious woman of many desires.
In this Hitchcock spy thriller, which Fincher once described as a magic trick of epic proportions, Ingrid Bergman shines in a role that's very different from her usual. She plays an American woman whose father was a convicted German war criminal. Recruited by a charming U.S. intelligence agent, played by Cary Grant, she's tasked with seducing a Nazi industrialist hiding in Brazil. At Taste of Cinema, we admit that the comparisons between Fincher and Hitchcock might be a bit exaggerated these days. While critics and fans share some responsibility for this, it's also true that Fincher has never hidden his admiration for Hitchcock.
All right, Popeye's here. Get your hands on your heads. Get off the bar and get on the wall.
William Friedkin's iconic cat and mouse thriller, featuring the legendary duo of Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider as two flawed narcotics detectives racing to stop an international heroin smuggling ring, has left its mark on countless films. You can see its influence everywhere, from the Safdie brothers movies and Michael Mann's work to modern urban thrillers like Drive and The Dark Knight.
Hello?
Don't be afraid.
Many directors have tried to capture the gritty side of New York City in their films. However, few have done it as effectively as Alan J. Pakula, whose Paranoia trilogy brilliantly portrayed the dark atmosphere and unique vibe of the city during a time of civil unrest and rising crime. David Fincher mentioned that Gordon Willis's cinematography in Pakula's 1971 conspiracy thriller, Clute, was a key inspiration for the look of his own 1995 breakout film. Clute features a powerful Oscar-worthy performance by Jane Fonda as a struggling actress and street-smart call girl who gets involved in a missing person investigation after a private detective shows up at her door looking for one of her clients.
Vous êtes conscient que pour le moment ce ne sont que des rumeurs. Moi, je n'ai pas la moindre information concrète.
Pacifiction was never likely to become a mainstream hit. Its director Albert Serra remains relatively unknown outside of certain circles. But despite this, the film deserves much more attention as an evocative political thriller. If you're looking to explore something beyond the usual, then Pacifiction is a great pick. The movie follows a troubled French bureaucrat sent to Tahiti, where he begins to panic as nuclear testing resumes and French soldiers start showing up everywhere. It's a slow-burn thriller packed with international intrigue and atomic-age paranoia. While the basic plot doesn't fully capture the surreal atmosphere and slightly artsy vibe, it still delivers enough edge-of-your-seat moments to keep even the most skeptical viewers hooked. Fincher attended the César Awards ceremony where Pacifiction won numerous honors. According to Brad Pitt, who was also there, Fincher was completely blown away by the film, especially praising the lead performance as one of the best he'd ever seen.
Okay, you've had your fun. I'll give you one more chance. And if you don't clear out now, there'll be real trouble.
When one considers the fact that Fincher has frequently mined the audience's fears and anxiety by cunningly leveraging our expectations to expose ugly truths about the human condition and the banality of evil, it's hardly shocking to learn that the mastermind behind Seven and Gone Girl would take a liking to this chilling home invasion thriller by Sam Peckinpah. Ambiguity is the name of the game in this gruesome morality play about David Summer, a mild-mannered American academic who moves from the United States to a secluded rural English town where his wife was raised. All hell breaks loose as soon as they settle down, with two local brutes beginning to target the couple, taunting David, brutally assaulting his wife and threatening to invade their home.
His name is Bishop. He's as methodical as a machine, as precise as a computer.
If you're looking for a high-octane hitman action movie, this 1970s cult classic starring Charles Bronson as a tough contract killer should be on your radar. In the film, Bronson plays a hitman who makes his hits look like accidents while working for a shady international crime syndicate. While the film's heart-pounding motorcycle chase is what often grabs attention, the real standout is watching Bronson, a 70s macho icon, take the son of one of his victims under his wing. He slowly teaches him the ways of the business, almost like a dark twist on The Karate Kid, all while keeping his true identity as the boy's father's killer a secret.